what Whitney Cummings did on New Year's Eve, I mean, honestly, I don't know how she didn't get kicked off the air because this went on for like a minute.
Wasn't Anderson Cooper like hiding under an umbrella?
Well,
I didn't even see his face. I couldn't see.
He was shitting a brick under the umbrella, but nevertheless, that's kind of what he was doing.
Have you seen this, Zaid? Have you seen this?
I haven't seen the clip. I think I heard about it, but I haven't seen it now.
All right,
do you have the clip? Okay.
Like, because if you know anything about Whitney Cummings, and I've seen her do, I've been to one of her stand-up shows once. She has like like truthful diarrhea. Like when she gets going, she'll just go and she doesn't stop. So,
they should be lucky she's not, because she's raunchy in stand-up. This is probably PG-13, but yeah.
Probably as close to as you could get, but it's pretty interesting.
I do believe we need to hold 2024 accountable for its behavior. That is what white women do now. We point out other things that are toxic because we don't get irony, and that is our truth. This was the year that people were behaving so poorly, we started being wistful about murderers. Remember, this was the year we were like, were the Menendez brothers so bad? Were we too hard on the Menendez brothers? This was the year we could not get enough of murderers. Gypsy Rose became our favorite celebrity because murdering your mom is so brat. They had her on a red carpet, a little on the nose for a murderer, but she was like posing in a fancy dress. We were like, slay, and she was like, I did. And of course, our heartthrob of the year was the alleged cold-blooded killer named Luigi, who is now in the same prison as Diddy, which I'm very upset about because Luigi already has a lower back issue. This was the year nothing made sense. Fertility was down, sales of baby oil was up, white supremacy groups reached record highs. It got so bad, Ariana Grande became white again. 2024 totally broke our brains. Half the people I know think we're in a simulation. I'm starting to wonder. When I go to a website and it asks me if I'm a robot or not, half the time I get the quiz wrong. I'm like, does the shadow of a bike count as a bike? I don't know. Why am I looking at a grainy photo of a crack house? Money's over. I'm like, I don't even know what crypto is. As far as I understand, it's just astrology for men. Like, I don't. 2024 election fried our brains. The Democrats couldn't hold a primary because they were too busy holding a body upright.
Oh. That last part was pretty good. And it's funny, like, it takes a comedian to say that last part, right? Like, very few political commentators who in the associated with Democrats would ever make that joke, even though no one can argue with it, right? Like,
it's not a coincidence that Anderson's umbrella is perfectly aligned, like with his mouth. I cannot, like, he's definitely wants to crawl into a hole.
Well, a couple of things. I do not appreciate her calling Luigi Mangione a cold-blooded killer because he hasn't been convicted. As far as we know, it's only alleged. And I don't think it was done in cold blood if it was, but that's an argument for a different day. What I do find very interesting is people forget Whitney was actually a huge, and I mean a huge supporter of RFK when he was running for president. So you kind of had to know if you were going to bring her on and you were going to let her have this kind of 2-minute drill that she was going to throw some things at you that you weren't going to want to hear. And you would think after the statement she just made about Biden, that would get her kicked off, or that would be like, okay, that's great. You've had your fun. But
she's saying all the things that Andy wish he had the balls to say.
Oh, Andy, you see, the thing about Andy, and I don't follow any of that, Real Housewives stuff that he's been promoting for 20 years. But Andy definitely strikes me as the type of person who's like, no, do it. Come on, do it.
Right. But he would pretend he knew nothing about it.
Of course. Right. All right, we'll keep going.
Are we still rolling? Am I off?
Go for it.
It was amazing that the pro-choice party didn't give their voters one when it came to the presidential candidate. Kamala was forced on us so hard you'd think she was patented by Pfizer or Moderna, whichever one's. Oh, God. Andy just gave me a very scary look.
No!
Let me be clear, though. 2024 was not only negative. The media wants us to believe this country is so divided, but we actually came together a lot this year. Like, as a nation, we unanimously agreed that we would rather see J-Lo in a toxic relationship than in concert. We all agreed the government totally knows what drones are and are telling us. The drones are still up there, and we have no idea what's behind them. No idea. I mean, they're still up in the sky, so I guess we can rule out that they were made by Boeing. The point is, I think we all agree on a lot of things. And since I only have a minute left live on establishment media, why don't we just say a bunch of things that we know that they'll never cover? Okay, ready, go. Trump Jr. didn't have any silverware in his house. No one thought that was weird? Are we still rolling? Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia put money into Disney, so just know there won't be any girl characters in the next Cars movie. Are we still rolling? This is wild. Okay, why have so many presidents' chefs died? Weird. Boy Scout of America, they renamed itself Scouting America. You know who else changed their name? Sean Combs. Just saying. Let's learn something in 2025. I can't believe you guys are still letting me go. This is amazing. I love CNN. Please stop me, Andy, because I will just keep going.
Happy New Year, Whitney Cummings.
That's great. But you know what? The only thing that really got the red flag was going after Pfizer and Moderna.
Yeah.
Those are literally their sponsors, like that, and probably the Boeing. Like all the other stuff, I don't think really matters, but going after the corporate sponsors really does not bode well.
Well, the one that she said that I found interesting that I haven't really looked into, but probably is true. Apparently, a lot of the president's chefs have died over the years.
Yes.
What is that all about?
Man.
I'm guessing that, have some chefs been... I don't want to know. I don't want to assume, but there's probably a reason. You know, kind of like if you remember when things were getting a little too close for comfort for Hillary back in the primary against Bernie, and there was a guy who apparently was going to testify, and then he mysteriously died in a weightlifting accident. I always found that one to be very interesting. So yeah, when these stories come out, you kind of you want to dig, but you really don't know where it's going to go. So kudos to Whitney for having the gall to say a lot of things that I think we would like people on. I mean, who knows how many people are watching New Year's Eve on CNN, but I would assume the ones that are.
But the people that are probably not all too happy with that.
No, and they're probably not really aware of any of these things either. And their reaction generally is, how could you say such a thing? It's terrible. It's a lot.
There's a lot of pearl clutching happening.